Hey guys, it's Tanya. Welcome back to the channel. Guess what today is? It is the day that I finally talked to you guys about my 1-year lock anniversary, which was actually on March 25th. So it was a 3-day install, so the 22nd through the 25th of 2021 that I was installed. So if you're interested in hearing about that experience of my last year of Microlocs on fine low density hair, then stay tuned. Before we get started, I just want to invite you guys to like and subscribe to this channel if you are finding value from this video. Throughout the video, feel free to click that like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more content on locks in general, and also my perspective having Microlocs on fine and low density hair. I like to bring on guests and do little rants and talks, and also sometimes throw in a tutorial and progress pictures about how my journey is going as a person with Microlocs with fine hair. Also, I am the owner of a shop called LocsSoFine, where I sell satin headrest covers, also satin bonnets that are handmade by me, and I also sell satin scrunchies and other things to help you protect your locks. Will be coming up soon. Okay guys, so into the reason why you clicked on this video. So it has been 1 year since I have been locked. I will give you a little bit of the stats just to start off with. So I was started with interlocking, was the method that my locks were started with. I started off with 512 locks. I now have 511 because I lost one along the way. We'll get into that a little bit later. I did not DIY. My locks were professionally installed, and I live in Arkansas. So a lot of people ask me, like, who did your hair? It's actually somebody just local here in Arkansas, and my consultant does not do sisterlocks. She just does Microlocs in a few different methods. She does 2-strand twists. She does interlock, and then she also does traditional locks as well. I'll put her information in the link in the description below. If you are in the Arkansas area and you're looking to get your hair done, she might have room for a consultation. What I really want to focus on in this video is just giving you guys an overview of what happened this year, also changes that I noticed in my hair, and then what I overall felt about it negatively and how I overall felt about it positively over the course of this last year of having Microlocs. So that's how the perspective of it's going to go. So I do have an installation video already. I have a video about what I took with me for my installation, what I take with me for my reties and stuff like that. So feel free to look at other videos. I'll try to link anything that's relevant to like the install and stuff like that in the description below so that you can watch that, because I won't go into detail. It would make this video way too long. Okay, so first things first, like I told you guys my stats. Over the very first few weeks of me having my Microlocs, everything really went fine. I did go through the ugly stage. I'll post some pictures about, the ugly stage where, the starter phase where my hair looked very scalpy. I will say, like, from having my hair it's not the fine as much as the low density. My hair was scalpy to begin with. And so I would say, like, my initial thoughts about my hair, I still was feeling myself. But the reactions for other people at the beginning of my lock journey wasn't necessarily most positive. But my husband's really supportive. So he was like, okay, I trust you. I was showing pictures of, like, this is probably what it's going to look like, no guarantees. But just kind of giving him an idea of what the journey was going to be like. At the beginning of my journey, what I did a lot was I wear my hair back. I did in a ponytail, or I wear it in a style where I like took these two pieces and then I pulled it like back like that, just because it made it look less like flat to my head. By the time that I hit, I would say like the 6-month mark, I could really honestly tell that my hair was filling out more. And from March to April, May, June, July, August, September, the 6-month mark was when I started this channel. So I started this channel in September. So any videos that you see of me starting when this channel first started will be the last 6 months of time that I've been recording. And so after that 6-month mark, I could definitely tell, okay, this is cool. This is all going to work out. And I got past the point where I was having like a lot of fear about the way that it was going to look, and really started embracing my locks as a whole and started getting more involved in the lock community. Around the point of 6 months, what you could probably expect is that you'll still be having a lot of slippage. Now, slippage is like where the lock starts slipping at the base of the lock. It's not necessarily new growth, it's more than that. I experienced a lot of like holes in my locks, and I started experiencing just like tangling and stuff like that. I'll attribute that to the fact that around 6 months was the point where I started like being more experimental with my hair, whereas before I wasn't doing anything to it. And I quickly learned, which is a tip I'll just throw in here, that when your hair is fine and low density, you get locks, you probably do not want to manipulate it a lot during the first year. And I learned that pretty quick, like pulling on it. I was doing roller sets. I was doing and it was super cute. Again, pictures should be popping up. I was doing roller sets. I was doing, what else did I do? I did braid outs. I did just a lot of different stuff. Well, the pulling was causing holes and I was having to get a lot of them repaired. So around the 6-month mark was when I started doing that. From 6 to 9 months, the biggest things I noticed on my hair was that it started actually locking. And so like the frizz that I was experiencing before actually started forming into locks. And then I also was beginning to get lock repairs, which, you know, guys, my pet peeves about these ones that hang down like this. And as they begin to get repaired, I started getting my locks that would hang below the other ones. So that's something that I would say is like realize that once some of the locks get repaired, they don't actually curl up anymore like the other ones do. They stay straight. And so that was something that I started experiencing from 6 to 9 months. As well, during 6 to 9 months, I also started noticing a real delineation between the part that was being interlocked and then also the part that was still curly. And from the 6-month mark to here, I actually have a lot of pictures that I'll show you guys of like, you could tell the line from the interlocked hair down to the curly ends was really starting to like move. And it looked kind of funny at first because my hair was so skinny on the ends and it was not very much of the lock that had been re-interlocked and was starting to lock. So it started looking like, to me, that was more of a weird looking phase than the beginning was a weird looking phase. And so like from 9 months until now, so the last video I had that was an update was 9 months until now. What's been happening with my hair? 9 months into now, I've really been doing more of like low manipulation, which is I kind of alluded to that before. I've been wearing my hair pretty much like this almost every single day. And I noticed that the health of my hair is flourishing. I also started changing up the products that I was using. Before I was just using like water and I was using this hair milk, and I've since stopped using that. At this point in my hair, I just use water and I use like an oil misting spray every once in a while for some sheen. And then I also use some oil on my scalp because the 9 to 12 month mark was also where I started experiencing some pretty rough patches when it came to dandruff. So I ended up with like dry scalp up here and dandruff, and I think it had to do too with me trying to figure out my shampooing routine, where I was like, I switched from the one I was using before, which I think was a better fit, to another one, and then I started using Melanin Hair Care, which has been working out fine. But I think once I use all that, I'm gonna go back to the one I was using at the very beginning because it was really getting my my hair like I feel like a lot cleaner. I also like experimented with stopping braiding and banding, which if you see my video about like when I did the rinse on my hair, that wasn't the first time I had washed my hair without braiding and banding. And I stopped doing that pretty quickly after I messed my hair up and I ended up with slippage, and I ended up losing a lock over here from it really bunching down. And it was like half slippage and half that piece of that lock, and it broke off. So that's how I ended up losing a lock, because it had to get combined with another lock, which was really sad. And so from that 9 to 12 month, I feel like it was when I really started embracing my locks more as actual locks and not like starter locks. I feel like it's also the period of time when I started learning more about what it takes to take care of my hair, what it takes to take care of my locks, and that like for real, this was going to work out. When I was thinking about getting locks, I was like, oh, you know, I trust the process. But when you really see, okay, yeah, like the back row of my hair, I'll show you guys a picture of it. It's actually for real, like it's locked, you know? And so I was like, okay, this process is going to work on my hair. I'm going to keep them in. I'm enjoying the process and things like that. Okay, so that's just kind of like an overview of what this past year has been like. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys some of the stats of like how it started versus how it's going as far as like the finances is concerned. So my installation, so I started off with an $800 commitment for my installation, and then also it was $100 for the consultation. So it ended up being $900 originally to start my hair. At the very beginning, my reties were about 4 hours, and honestly, they pretty much stayed that. It did fluctuate when around that time when I was doing very higher manipulation on my hair was when I ended up with most of my slippage. And my loctician charges by the hour. So the most I paid was like $145 because it took her like 5 hours. Now, again, your experience with the finances of it is going to differ based on how your loctician is charging and if you're doing it DIY. So I have pretty much been, probably the longest I've been without a retie was about 8 weeks. And again, you know, it's going to vary also as far as that's concerned. But on average, I'm spending anywhere between 120 and 145 at the maximum that I spent dollars on my reties. And I have gotten 10 reties in the last year. So if you want to do that math real quick, it's back some over $1,000 worth of money that I spent over reties plus the initial commitment. Moving forward, I feel like I can expect the same. I'm sitting at about $140. I look back to see my last 2 reties. I'm sitting at like $140 for the price of the retie. Will I switch to DIYing? No, I don't want to. I'm okay with the cost that I'm paying. I'm not buying a lot of products. I'm not, getting my hair braided and all that. So to me, it's just part of the maintenance of my hair. But I just wanted to throw that in to you guys as far as like how much money I ended up spending over the past year. Problems that I had, pretty much the biggest problems that I had have been slippage. And then holes. I had a lot of holes at the very beginning. I have not been told that I've had a lot of holes since like the first 6 months or so. So that's really working out. Dandruff, again, that was an issue with me switching my shampoo and trying to figure out a good cleaning regimen to keep my scalp clean. And I am on an every 2 weeks cleaning my hair schedule, and I'm pretty comfortable with how it's going as far as getting my scalp. Other things, lint, that's a really bane of my existence right now. I'm not getting lint anywhere but along the back of my hair. And I think some of that buildup is because I did that clear rinse on my hair. And so I'm still working on getting that out of the base of my locks and getting a really good thorough cleaning in there. I'm trying to think, like, really guys, this experience has been a big learning experience. It has been like, if you're afraid that your hair is fine low density and you are it's not gonna work out. I mean, I can't speak for your hair because softness also has something to do with it. My hair is pretty soft too. But this has been like the best year for my hair. It really has been. I've learned a lot about it. I've learned a lot about locks, and I learned a lot about all those things. And so that's really like what's happened this year. And every step and almost everything that I mentioned in this video, I've made a video about it. And so didn't want to rambly go on about, oh my gosh, this or that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a progression of the when I first got my locks up until now, how much of it is locked, how much of it isn't, some of the problem things that you guys, maybe I've already put up a picture of, but I'll include it in that and try to build a timeline from the beginning to the end of what my locks look like now that I'm at a year.